Awesome. That's great. Tumela Mokopane, my apologies. I couldn't be there with you today because of other commitments, but it's such an honor and a pleasure to be with you here today. As I said, my name is Lizzy Mogale, ke ngwana wa Tefluopo, ke goletse Tefluopo. Ke tsene sekolo ko Harry, so I'm a product of Harry Oppenheimer High School. So I know Mokopane quite well because that's where on weekends where we would run away from school, that's where we would be. So it's really a privilege and an honor to be with you here today, and looking forward to the next 10 or so minutes that we'll talk about. So it was quite interesting that when we came up with this topic of the female economy, and I'm being told that across the room, it's actually mostly females. And that starts telling you around how the notion of the female economy is actually misunderstood within the communities. And I hope today, with what I would share, it will start talking to everyone around what we mean by the female economy and what are the opportunities that lies within, the space of the female economy. So I just want to share a quote that one of the leading women in the female economy has spoken about, to say, if women market were a country, it will be a top 5 global economy in the world. So let's just think about it, to say, if the female economy was a market, it will be similar to being a top 5 global economy. And what this means is women as a segment, there is a lot of money that is moving, that is circulating within the female economy that sometimes is overlooked by a lot of organizations and a lot of banks. Another one, Anne says, too much of our world has been designed without women involved and women in mind. And I think for most people sitting in the room, we know this, to say, a lot of solutions that are being driven have always been considered from a male lens perspective rather than a women perspective. And female economy says it's time to create a better world that works for everyone. Starting to think around, as you design your solutions and you identify your segments, how do you identify those that are aligned to women? And lastly, bringing it home, said, equality for women is progress for all. We do know that a rand in a woman's hand travels far much further than a rand in a man's hand. And that's when we start saying that there's an opportunity as businesses to be able to help money. And as Nedbank, we're very clear that our purpose is to be financial experts who do good. And, when it comes to the female economy, we're looking at it in 2 ways, right? Firstly, to say, how do we drive inclusivity? Because it's still important to have more women, more females participating within, the economy as required. But secondly, which is the most important thing why we're talking about it today, women have the opportunity to unlock value. Women as an opportunity, to create value for business and help businesses make money. And you can only do this by deliberately serving women as a value generating segment. And I actually just want to ask you, as a business owner, to say, have you ever seen women as a segment that's able to generate value? Just like you would see, for us in banking, when we talk about, segments, we'll talk about, people within a certain range of income, people within a certain range of age, people within certain communities, people who own certain assets. We see them as segments, and women are proving to be a different segment to other segments in terms of how, as women, we consume money, we consume data, we consume a lot of things. And that's what we talk about when we talk about, the female economy. Basically, the female economy says, there is an economy where women move money, women use money, women use products, women use services differently to how males do. And how do we make sure that we deliberately create solutions that tap into the movement of women that exist within, within the society? I was looking at one, right, that's telling us that women are, the value that women are driving in the economy has way outweighed the value that men are driving in the economy. You look at most homes, in terms of purchasing decisions are made by women, where, where people stay, the houses that you have, things that we do for children are mostly driven by women. And understanding how women, absorb any content becomes quite important. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you as a business entrepreneur is ask yourself, what are the known facts about women that can create opportunities for your business? you know Pause and ask yourself this about whatever industry of work or sector of work that you're doing. And I'll give you an example to say, for us in banking, there are four truths about women that we have identified and that could open opportunities for us as a bank. The first one is that women are great savers. I mean, stats across the world and also in South Africa shows that women are 16% more likely than men to save for future expenses. So as a bank that's driving deposit, that's driving savings, we do know that women create a new unique opportunity around savings that we need to tap into and engage around, differently. You start seeing, aspects like stokvels. Stokvels are mostly driven by women. The reason why stokvels have existed across decades is mainly because women are driving them, because women are great savers. As a bank, we're starting to ask ourselves, how do we tap into this insight that we know to make sure that we offer savings and investments products that talks uniquely to women needs? The second truth that we know is that women are prudent borrowers. Women are more likely to pay back their loans. I mean, as bank guys, it's very important. We need customers who are able to pay back their loans, because if you don't pay back their loan, if you don't pay back your loan, it means the person who trusted us with their deposit, we are unable to give them their money when they require it with the interest that they have. So there is a lot of societal impact when people don't pay their money. And I think sometimes we don't understand it. People is like, it's a bank. If I don't pay them, they're not going to have an impact. But sometimes we forget to say the money that we have loaned you is money that someone deposited into the bank that we need to give them back with interest when they need them. So women are very prudent, borrowers, and we're seeing that even in our data. And as a bank, we're asking ourselves, say, how do we start being innovative and creating solutions, lending solutions that are uniquely designed to women, given that they are prudent, prudent borrowers. The third one is that women are loyal. I mean, besides relationships, we're very loyal in relationships, but we're also loyal in terms of how we consume and how we use products, right? When women are satisfied, they will tell 9 other people about your business. Women drive a lot of word of mouth. They are a marketing tool. So if you find an opportunity to service women and you service them well, they will talk about your business and they will create more customers, for you. The fourth truth is around women buy more product. Women buy 21% more products, per customer than men. So if you want to grow sales and you want to grow your business, you need to address women, because if you address women, they're going to buy more. When people buy more, you make more money and your business grows. And for us as a bank, these are the 4 truths that we know about women, and we're asking ourselves, how do we start creating solutions that leverage these truths that sits in the space? And that's why I started by saying, look at your business and either look at your business or look at your environment around Mokopane, around, Limpopo, around, the different provinces around South Africa, around Africa as a continent, even around the world, to start saying, what are those known truths about women and how can you make money from those known truths? The second thing that can help you in terms of tapping into the female economy is you need to create a gender lens reporting for your business. And what do I mean by gender lens reporting? How many of you actually look at your customers and know what percentage of your customers are women? What percentage of your customers are men? Of the percentage of customers of women, how many of them are married? How many are single? How many have kids? How many live with families? How many live with extended families? How many, are about to start families? Like, that is information that starts helping you to unpack opportunities. And maybe let me make it practical, right? Let's say you are in the business, of making clothes. And, you understand your clients, you know that of my 10 clients, 6 of them are women, and of the 6, 4 of them, are intending to have kids. 1 is pregnant. 2 of them have kids who are about to go to start school. 1 of them is got a child who's about to get married. What does that do for you? Start talking to them, say, oh, by the way, I make clothes for kids. For your newborn kids, these are the things that I can do. I notice that your children are about to go to school. Can I make the following, either in a form of a uniform or what for your kids? Oh, I noticed that your child is about soon about to get married. Can I be the designer for your child's wedding and create clothes for them? So you start seeing how you understand the gender lens of your data, how it starts helping you to unlock and open more opportunities. I mean, for us in the bank, it's also important to start understanding when, which life stage are women at and what kind of products will be relevant to them. So I encourage you to say, create a gender lens, reporting to your data, and also understand women's life stages instead of, and by life stages, we mean things around, I talked about marital status. I talked about where are you in the family, journey. If, is it people who love travel? What are the interests that the women have, and how do you tap into it? And what was quite interesting is ever since we started the Kasi business workshops, right? We've actually identified a few areas where we are seeing solutions that are specifically designed for women. As you can see, beauty is a big one. I can tell you today, even the people who are exhibiting today, most of them is within the beauty space. We've seen a lot of solutions that are customized for women being in the beauty space. Clothing is another big one. A lot of entrepreneurs that we see within the Kasi Business World, they're making clothes for women, for children, within that. We've seen a bit around mentoring. I think one of the pitchers today also talked about how they're creating programs to help women. And we're seeing a lot of that. Manufacturing is starting to emerge, but it's still a bit slow to say. For those who are in the beauty industry, they're also starting to translate it into manufacturing to say, let me make my own products, let me create my own, my own candles and my own. So we're starting to see that emerging, and also agriculture, right? To say businesses that say, but even with agriculture, it's more to say we've come together as women and we started saying, how do we tap into agriculture? But it's not necessarily to say there are solutions within agriculture that are tailored for women. And my challenge today is to say there is so much within the women's space. You look at even the presentations today. I think there was one around femtech, female technology, when she was talking about they're creating solutions to track women around, during periods, during pregnancy, during, maternity leave and all that stuff. That's a huge opportunity. That is a huge market. We're also starting to see fertility. The fertility industry is becoming huge in South Africa, and it's quite costly. As an entrepreneur, how do you start thinking differently around how you offer services within the fertility, industry around it? Let's look at other opportunities that can create within the kind of space. Is around what are some of the gaps that we have as women. I've seen one idea that's starting to gain traction to say most of the time as women we are wearing heels, but when you're running around you also need flat shoes, and most of us will carry heels and will carry flat shoes. But there are other people who are starting to create solutions around, you have a shoe that you can close it up, it becomes flat, you open it up, it becomes a heel. So that's removed the friction for women within the system. What are those opportunities that exist that you can tap into in your business as you run the female economy? As I said, the female economy is not only about including women in the economy. It's around deliberately and intentionally designing solutions that are uniquely targeted to women within this kind of segments. And as I said, there are more opportunities, guys, within the female economy that we need to be able to explore, pause and look at challenges that females faces and identify opportunities within your business. And I'm going to ask that right now, even as I go through this presentation, just look at your business and start asking yourself to say, are there things or challenges that women are going through that you could create a unique solution for them that starts, addressing it. I mean, I'll give you a very good example of some of the things that we're thinking about in the bank. So in the bank, we also starting to think around, you look at gender-based violence, right? To say stats show that 99% of the gender-based violence is based on financial abuse. And financial abuse is where someone with higher power of money controls the other person using money within relationships. And we find that it's actually mostly women who are in those kind of situations. And as a bank, we're starting an initiative to start saying, guys, let's talk about this financial abuse that women mostly face. A good example is, when Mojolo is still nice or you're still ending the relationship, a person starts controlling your money, say, no babe, don't buy this, do this, why did you buy those shoes, you're wasting money, you've got 10 pairs of shoes and all that stuff. Is that financial management or is that financial abuse? Are you being controlled in terms of how you use your money as you go into the environment and how you do it a bit differently? And how do we start creating those conversations so that, because if we start addressing the issue of of financial abuse and we help people to understand it, it will indirectly impact the issue of gender-based violence. As the bank, our specialty is not around gender-based violence, but our specialty is around financial management, and we leveraging our financial expertise to say, how do we make sure that financial abuse is discussed in families, and it also starts helping to reduce the aspect of gender-based violence. That's how we're thinking about it. How can you think about it in your business and how you are able to drive it? So as I'm about to close, our ability to unlock value and opportunities for your specific business is by deliberately serving women as a value generating segment. And we're starting to see, I'll give you a few examples within the femtech, right? We've seen, companies that have created, those disposable sanitary, funnels, rather than, we know most children, most women don't have access to sanitary pads because of their cost. They've created a reusable tube that you can use, wash, cleanse, then you continue to use it. That's a solution that's tailored specifically, for women. We're starting to see apps that are being created to help women, understand their cycle so that you're able to track when your periods happen. I mean, the worst thing that can happen to a woman is have your periods when you least expect them and they start embarrassing you. There are apps that have been created to start helping women say, how do you identify those kind of opportunities that sits in the in the space within that. So those are some of the solutions that you can tell that deliberately and intently designed to service the women's sector. And that's what we talk about when we talk about the female economy. The female economy is not only about businesses that are run by women. It's about businesses who are creating unique solutions to service the women needs. And I hope through this presentation, I was able to give you a good sense of what the female economy is about and how the female economy can unlock value for your business and help you to make money as you uniquely identify opportunities to service the women. And I hope during the network sessions, guys, you will talk about these opportunities. You will be open to them. And I hope to the men who did not attend today, who might be listening online, realize that you might be missing an opportunity because you interpreted this as a session for women who own businesses rather than a session to help you identify solutions that are within the women's segment that you can solution for that helps you build your business. With that said, I'll pause it there and I'm more than happy to take questions.
Lizzy, thank you. Thank you so much. A round of applause, please, for Lizzy. I don't know if you have questions for Lizzy. If you have questions, maybe indicate. But maybe, Lizzy, before we let you go, I think you did such a great job in just articulating the difference between women who are running these businesses and just also the importance of tapping into the female economy. And thank you so much, Lizzy, also for being so practical, giving us really practical examples that we can start thinking about as small businesses. There's something that you mentioned when you were talking to say that women have different life stages. And it got me to think, if I'm a business person right now and I'm thinking about, how to tailor my business to target the female economy, what would your advice be when it comes to targeting these different life stages? Would you advise me to focus on a particular niche in terms of the women life cycle, or should I just approach the entire woman as a being? What would you say to that?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I think there are two ways to be able to approach this, right? The first one is around, look at your business and start saying, within my business, like I used the example of a tailor, to say when you are a tailor and you service women and you start understanding this one is about to have kids, this one's kids are about to go to university, it helps you to expand the business opportunities that exist within that kind of space. That's the first thing around it that you can look at. then it makes it a bit niche to start saying you are in the clothing industry, you're going to produce clothing for your women clients across their whole life stages. The other opportunity might actually be to say, look at the market and start saying, what is missing for women in the market? The example that I used about, shoes that are multi-purpose. It can be flat and it can be a heel. Maybe you look at the market and say, what are some of the things that are missing for women? You go out, you research, you ask women, guys, what are the gaps that exist in terms of where you feel you are not being serviced in the market? Then maybe you can create a product within that space that uniquely addresses that kind of a thing. So that's what I'm saying. You can either take it as within clothing, I'm going to service all the life stages of women. Like for us in banking, we want to service all the life stages of women. As you're about to have a child, we want to make sure that we can open, a banking account for your child. As a woman who's about to go on maternity leave, we can help you to save for maternity leave and educate you around the cost that comes within maternity leave. As a woman, if you want, funding to address some of the fertility issues, how do we provide funding to address some of these fertility issues? And also some of the non-banking related issues. You look at a business like Sweep South, right? Where, Asha Pando created a service to start saying, most women are working these days. They don't have time to cook, they don't have time to clean. Let's offer reliable services of validated people who can go, who can offer these services to women within their business so that women are still able to be productive at work and still have clean homes. You have businesses like You Cook that creates, cooked packaged meals, right? And if you start looking at it, that business starts acknowledging to say, there are two things. We have single people who don't have time to cook, more specifically men, who don't have time to cook, who need home cooked meal. You Cook services address them. You also have women who, previously women used to spend a lot of time at home cooking and all that stuff. Women are working a lot, their jobs are demanding, but they still need to make sure that they feed their family, they provide nutrition to their family. You Cook creates that to say, as a mother, you can choose the meals that you want your family to be served, and it gets delivered to your home every day. I mean, that's a booming business that's out there. That comes from someone who looked at women and the challenges that they face and start saying, how do we help address this kind of issues? And that's what I'm talking about to say, you need to go out and research and understand what are the gaps that specifically for women that you can look at and start addressing and taking it forward. I hope that gives you a good example around the practicality of how you start approaching the female economy.
No, it's very much. Thank you so much, Lizzy. Do you have any questions? And I think with what Lizzy has been sharing, I hope it's not something that makes us think, no, Palana didn't come here to change my business model. I didn't come here to be told this is how I need to run my business. It's just to expose you to saying there's a market, there's the female economy, and it's very lucrative. And this is how you can tailor your business in order to, grow it. So thank you so much, Lizzy. Do we still have Lizzy on the line? If you have a question, maybe. I have one last question. Anyone with a question? Lizzy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. You spoke about the importance of doing research in order to find out where you can find your sweet spot as a business for you to, target to be able to operate in the female economy. What do you say to small businesses in townships and villages who do not have the data? And data is going to be very important for you to decide, am I going to go niche? Am I going to go target the whole woman? Which area am I focusing on? So talk to us as entrepreneurs who are in townships, entrepreneurs who are in villages, who don't have the data, who've never collected the data per se, because we all have data, but you don't know what to do with it. What do you do with us? How do you advise us? When I don't have the systems to collect data, to process data, to have that data give me direction as to where or how I can target the female economy.
Okay. No, great questions. And I mean, for those who follow the Kasi Business Workshops, we did a few sessions around strategic thinking, where we said, use every customer touch point as a point to collect data. Let's say, I like sticking to story. Let's stick to the story of the tailor, right? As a tailor, when a client comes, you ask them questions. Hi Lizzy, how are you? Okay, cool. What do you like for me? Okay, so Lizzy, do you have kids? Do you intend to have kids? So Lizzy, what do you do for fun? Where do you go over weekends? Your friends, what do you do with your friends? That's data collection point, right? That's one simplistic way of doing data collection. I also spoke about, for your clients, you need to start having a database and doing a gender lens understanding of your clients. If let's say you have data on WhatsApp, let's take WhatsApp because most small businesses use WhatsApp to be able to sell stuff. When you sell to people, you start realizing to say majority of your clients are female. Then you start looking, when do women buy from me? What time of the day do they buy from me? What time of the week, what time of the day do they buy from me? And normally when they buy, do they pay cash? Do they pay by card? Like, those are points of collecting data that starts helping you to understand the female economy around that, right? You also start looking to say, my base of female, what percent of them are working full time? What percent are in their small businesses? And what is the most convenient time to be able to engage around those kind of bits? When you're on, we talked a lot about digital marketing, how it's a great opportunity for you to collect insights. And a lot of small businesses are asking questions on social media just to get data. You can just pose a question, right, to your clientele base and just, ask them to say, for the female in the for my female clients, what makes your life easy? What are some of the challenges that you're looking for? What are some of the solutions you wish someone had designed that will help your life become better? So those are the different options and platforms within which you can gather data. Today, gathered in that room, they are mostly women. Use that also as an opportunity to ask questions around what women do. And the third thing is around, there is a lot on the internet. Just go on the internet and Google. Like, for example, I spoke about femtech, and maybe you're like, what is actually femtech? Go to the internet and Google around femtech. You'll actually start seeing how femtech is going both globally around the continent and in South Africa, which are uniquely designed solutions to address the female, problems through technology. There's also fem health tech, female health tech that exists within the sector. And by reading those examples, you start knowing and understanding. And maybe some of them, the Japanese grew their economy by copying what others do and implementing in their environment. Maybe you just look at those ideas and say, how do I copy this idea and create it in South Africa? How do I partner maybe with an organization that's designing solutions for women in another part of Africa, but I'm solutioning for the South African market. So there are multiple options within which you can collect this data and leverage it and use it. But I always encourage all entrepreneurs to say every touch point with the client is a data collection point. Never lose that opportunity. Use it to get more insights and more understanding about your clients so that you can unlock more business opportunities.
Lizzy, you speak very passionately about this. If we have a back and forth, we won't finish. But thank you so much. And I believe that our entrepreneurs were able to pick up a couple of pointers that they can use. Thank you so much. A round of applause, please, for Lizzy Mogale, Managing Executive for Insights and Advisory. Thank you so much. We're moving on.